Your brain is doing something very specific to you. And once you understand what it is, you'll never look at Netflix, social media, or your own relationships the same way again. Moscow, 1927. A young psychology student walks into a busy cafe with her professor. His name is Kurt Lewin, one of the most brilliant minds in psychology at the time. Her name is Bluma Zeigarnik, and she's about to accidentally discover something that billion-dollar companies will weaponize 100 years later. They're sitting there, probably arguing about something academic, when Lewin notices the waiters. Now this is a packed cafe. Multiple tables. Complex orders. This person wants no onions. That person wants extra bread. Table 4 has been waiting 20 minutes and is getting irritated. And yet the waiters are handling all of it perfectly. No notes. No system. Just memory. Lewin is fascinated. He calls one of the waiters over. How do you remember all of that? The waiter shrugs. It's just what they do. But then Lewin asks something else. What did table 7 order? They paid and left about an hour ago. The waiter goes blank. Genuinely cannot remember. And that small moment in a Moscow cafe is where this story begins. Lewin turns to Zeigarnik and says, "Go figure out why that happens." So she does. She designs a simple experiment. Participants come in and are given a series of tasks. Some easy, some complex. Puzzles. Math problems. Little activities. Some participants are allowed to finish their tasks completely. Others are interrupted halfway through. Task stopped. Move on. No resolution. Then she tests their memory. And the results are almost hard to believe. People remembered the interrupted tasks, the unfinished ones, twice as well as the tasks they completed. Twice. The incomplete things stuck. The complete things vanished. She published her findings. The psychology world paid attention. And the Zeigarnik Effect was born. Here's what's actually happening inside your brain. When you start a task, any task, your brain opens what you can think of as a mental file. It allocates attention, memory, processing power. It essentially puts a flag on that task that says, active, unresolved, keep monitoring. When you finish the task, flag comes down. File closes. Brain moves on. But when you don't finish, the flag stays up. The file stays open. And your brain, trying to be helpful, keeps that task running in the background like 17 Chrome tabs you forgot to close, quietly draining your battery. It's not a flaw in your design. It's actually a feature. Think about it evolutionarily. If you're living in the wild and you've half-built a shelter, you cannot afford to forget about it. The unfinished things needed to stay top of mind. Your survival depended on it. The problem is you're not building shelters anymore. You're trying to sleep, and your brain is still running the same ancient software. Now this is where it gets a little uncomfortable, because some very smart, very wealthy people figured out the Zeigarnik Effect and built entire industries around exploiting it. Let's start with Netflix. You ever finish an episode and think, okay, one more, just one more. And then it's 2 a.m. and you have work tomorrow and you're 4 episodes deep into a show you don't even like that much? That's not an accident. Netflix doesn't end episodes at natural stopping points. They end them in the middle of tension, mid-conversation, mid-conflict, sometimes literally mid-scene. Because their data, and they have a lot of data, shows that an unresolved moment keeps you watching. The loop is open. Your brain wants it closed. So you press play. Then there's social media. Infinite scroll has no ending. That's by design. There is no natural completion point. No moment where your brain gets to say, done, finished, we can rest now. The loop never closes. So you never stop. And news headlines. What scientists just discovered about your morning coffee. The one habit that's quietly destroying your health. What they're not telling you about. These are not headlines. They are open loops with a click attached. Your brain won't let them go. So you click. You read. And by the time you realize the article said nothing of value, they've already got your attention. You were never browsing. You were chasing resolution that was never coming. But here's where it gets really personal. The Zeigarnik Effect doesn't just live in your task list. It lives in your relationships too. That situationship that never got a clear ending. The friendship that just faded out without a conversation. The argument that was never resolved. The person who left without explaining why. Your brain treats all of these as open loops. And it will return to them. Replay them. Rewrite them. Try to find resolution in the middle of your commute, in the shower, at 3 a.m. when you have absolutely nothing else to do with your anxiety. It's why closure matters so much. A relationship that ends clearly, even painfully, gets processed and eventually filed away. Your brain accepts the ending. But one that just disappears? That loop stays open for years. Sometimes forever. You weren't obsessing over that person because you love them that much. Your brain just couldn't stand the unfinished file. Now here's the part most people skip. Once you understand this effect, you can stop being a victim of it and start using it as a tool. The best writers in history figured this out before the science caught up. Hemingway had a rule. He would stop writing every single day, not when he ran out of ideas, but when he knew exactly what came next. Mid-momentum, mid-flow, sometimes mid-sentence. His reason? So the loop stayed open overnight. His brain kept working on it while he slept. And the next morning he sat down, and the words were already there. The open loop became the engine. You can do the same thing. If you're learning something new, don't study in one long, unbroken block. Stop in the middle. Take a break. Come back. The interruption isn't the enemy. The interruption is actually what makes it stick. Students who study in broken, interrupted sessions consistently retain more than students who study in one long sitting. The open loops keep the brain engaged. Start the task before you're ready to do the task. Just open the document. Write one sentence. Start the email without finishing it. Your brain will do the rest. It will not let an open file sit there comfortably. It will nudge you back. Use the nudge. Every open loop costs you something. Attention, energy, sleep, peace. The 17 tabs running in the background, the email, the conversation, the task, the relationship, they are all pulling from the same battery. And a lot of them, you've been carrying for no reason at all. The question worth asking isn't why can't I stop thinking about this? The question is this loop worth keeping open? Because some of them are. The unfinished project that still excites you. The idea you haven't acted on yet. The conversation you know you need to have. Those loops deserve your attention. But the Netflix episode? Close the tab. You'll survive the cliffhanger. Probably. The effect you just learned about was used to make this video. Did you notice where? Subscribe for more content. See you in the next one.